So before we start this video, I just want to make a disclaimer.
Ooh, yeah.
That just want to make a disclaimer that this video is not promoting sex. It's not encouraging anybody to have sex. It's just basically giving out information, our own experiences, and some knowledge on what we feel like could be done better in our community with our parents and just people who have children that are that may have grown up differently and didn't talk about sex openly.
Because you know you didn't.
A lot of us didn't, but you know, just kind of breaking that barrier. So this is all that is. So if you feel offended or you feel triggered, you can just leave now.
Subscribe anyways.
Yes.
Subscribe before you leave with anger.
With anger. I'm Guye.
I'm Mid.
And we're here for a girl chat, all things women's health, relationships, sex, and all the above.
Yeah.
When did you start taking your health serious?
Oh, okay. So I started taking my health serious. Man, this is so crazy because like before we even get to that, like I wish like as girls, especially as like young girls, like I wish and it's not like to even knock our moms or like anything like that, you know, because I love them with all of my heart, you know.
They just did what they knew.
Yeah, they just did what they knew to do, you know. Yeah. But like how great would it have been to like have had more information, you know, when it comes to like things like periods and oh my gosh, like dealing with cramps and talking about sex and like getting in depth, you know, about it, you know, and just like loading yourself up with precautions and information, you know, like it's just like if I would have known half of the things that I should have known around middle school, you know, if I would have known that, then I think like it just would have gotten me ready.
Like you would have started earlier.
Yeah,
to take care
of myself.
I agree. I think that like in our culture, we don't like sex is taboo. We don't talk about it. We don't discuss it. The only like sex talk maybe you'll ever get is like don't have sex or you're get kicked out. Yeah. If you get pregnant, you get kicked out. That's it. Yeah. There's no like.
That's literally the
sex is important, and know that like it's meant to be with one person, and these are the reasons why it shouldn't be with just a random person. You know the precautions of getting pregnant, STDs. Like I've never heard an African parent talk about STDs ever, and I think that is so important because even when you're that young and sex is like talked about, you'll be like, well, what's the big deal anyway? He did? At least he did.
It was really awkward. Like
you're like,
But like by the time we tried to have the talk, I was like, I already knew about sex. Like first of all, I'm 19 years old. That's when he tried to have the conversation.
Oh my god, that late.
Yeah, it was late. It was like first of all, like middle school. I knew like years ago what sex was.
It's something that like we're exposed to, and especially nowadays, kids are exposed to that at like 6th grade. Some 6th graders are having sex. Yeah. People are getting pregnant at 14. And I think that
all my guy cousins were sexually active at like 12, 13.
Oh my god, you see, and especially men, like they have sex a lot earlier.
Talk to guys, like oh my gosh, like, my guy cousins and my guy friends are like in my eyes like you're disgusting because like at 12, 13 I wasn't thinking about that, you know. But like girls, guys, like it's
but you know what though, a lot of those people who are sexually active that young honestly had their first sexual experience with an older woman, and it was not good. Like you it happened, but they don't see it as like, oh, someone took advantage of me because they're a man, and that hurts me so much.
Okay, I had that conversation, you know what I mean? With one of my guy friends, and he was telling me
their first experience is not like with somebody their age; it's with an older person.
My guy friend was telling me, okay, like if you're. He's not watching this because he's just not. If he is, oh my god, I love you. Like you don't even, you guys don't even know, and you don't even know because I'm not saying your name. But like he was telling me when he was 9 years old, he had sex with a girl that was 17 at the time. Yeah. And here's the thing, he was trying to make it sound so okay with me, and I was telling him, I was like, you were violated. Like you know you were violated, right? And I literally was grabbing my head like I'm so stressed and overwhelmed, my heart is pounding. You were violated. Right. And he was laughing like, no, I enjoyed it.
Just because you enjoyed it doesn't mean you weren't taking it.
He was like, I enjoyed it. I wanted, like, she knew what she was like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like at 9 years old, he's like, you have to understand, guys, like we start earlier, this and this and that. Like I was aware of sex and this, and I was like, so who initiated it, you know? Right. I was like, who initiated it? Right. And he told me about the story, how he was touching up on her hair and stuff like that, and like she was, you know, obviously like responding.
That's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Why did she think that was okay?
Right, and they proceeded to that, and he was just like trying to make it seem like it's so okay, you know, where he yeah, and I was just I just couldn't. I was just like, you were violated. Like, I want to say you were raped.
This example right here is why talking about sex with your kids is important.
So important.
Because a lot of times, even let's get into women, a lot of the girls in our community have been touched by a fake uncle, somebody that they thought was a cousin that's really not, and they don't know how to respond because they don't know. No one ever said, if anyone touches you like this is not okay. Right. You know what I mean? If anybody says these things or like grabs you this way, you know, those conversations need to be had. Like, this is what's not okay, and this is what is okay. Right. And like, not like I said, once again, it's not promoting sex, not saying go have sex, but it's saying like, you should know what's not okay about sex when someone's touching you the wrong way, or if it's an older person, you know, grabbing you, doing these things. But if no one's ever told you anything's wrong with it, you don't know. And if you allow it to happen, you can't even say no, you can't stop, because you don't understand that it's not okay. And
like, boundaries are never set. Like, no, you have to have those conversations with your kids about boundaries as to like where someone is allowed to touch them, where is it inappropriate, you know. And if like someone is making you feel like A, B, and C, then you need to remove yourself. Absolutely. And you need to say something, you know. And one thing that I've seen before, I can't remember her name, Shan Boojum on YouTube. Booty. Yeah, on YouTube. Oh my god, I love it. She was on there, and she was talking about one of her friends' rape stories, and and I was like in mad tears, but like, she was talking about how like afterwards, the guy that had like raped her was like, well, you know, you were aroused and you were turned on, so like you didn't dislike it, this and this and that.
They
and it's
like justified that as consent.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, like you also have to like, it's scary, like it's such a scary world, because you also have to like almost bring these things up to your kids now too, where it's like, just because your body responds doesn't mean that you like it, you know, like it doesn't mean that it was okay, you know, and it doesn't mean that like that was something that's like
that's, you know, the first step to what needs to be done, because it's sad. It's sad that a lot of people go through this and then they don't even know it. They don't even know that they're violated till years later when they're in a relationship, and they're like, hold on, and they're like, wait, what? This isn't, you know. Then you're like, whoa, like, why do I feel like this? And then it takes you back to when you're a little girl and remember like, oh, it seemed so innocent, and Uncle so-and-so, you know, it was fine, and it wasn't. So I think that, that's definitely number one. And then also for girls, I feel like they said things like periods and stuff like that shouldn't be embarrassing. Like, you shouldn't be embarrassed that you have that. Like, you're a girl. It's a part of becoming a woman. When you have kids, like, knowing that you even have your period, it means you're not pregnant. And if you don't have it for like, nah, honey, you're pregnant. You know, just knowing those things. Like, some people don't even keep track of their periods. Honestly, I didn't start keeping track till 2 years ago. And I have an app that I track it on now, because I just want to know, you know, not saying like, oh, I might just randomly get pregnant. No, but I just want to know what's going on with myself, whether my period is regular. If it's irregular, why is that? Am I not eating enough? Am I eating too many bad things? Just those things about like my health that I need to know, and just keeping track of that. Or if my mood swings are a certain way, like, what am I missing, or what kind of vitamins do I need? You know, all those things that you wouldn't know unless somebody talks about it or you're given that knowledge. I learned a lot of it on YouTube.
Honestly, like, just watching a lot of different like people and their different content, and
Shannon, she was a huge one for me.
There's so many of her videos that I've like come across where it's like, oh,
she helped me so much.
You know? Yeah, it's like, you've helped me just like feel comfortable to like have different conversations, and then to like not feel ashamed about it, you know?
So how do you think Sudanese parents can make their kids comfortable enough to have those conversations and know that they're a safe place? Because there is that shunning of, if you say, oh, my uncle touched me, shut up, he didn't do that, he would never do that, you know what I mean? There's that backlash. And what's sad is there's nowhere for those girls to go. We don't have a crisis line where it's like, oh, you know, we believe you, your uncle did this, but then they're traumatized and they start abusing alcohol or abusing drugs or whatever. But like, what would you say could help like break that barrier of,
for the parents? And the I think just having the conversation, and like whether it's you the kid just starting it, no matter how uncomfortable it is.
But some parents will be like, I don't want to talk about this because they weren't raised that way.
Yeah.
So I think we also have to realize it takes so much of our parents too, because they're not used to talking about that.
Yeah.
Their parents didn't talk to them about it. So like, we have to realize it takes a lot for them. It takes just as much energy and strength for them as it does for us.
Yeah.
You know?
It does. No, it takes a lot from them. That's why I'm saying, like, sometimes it almost falls on us to like find a way to create that space of like making them feel comfortable, you know, enough for us to, because at the end of the day, like we're in
health.
Yeah, but then we're also in a position where we have more information than they do, you know.
True, yes.
So it does almost have to be us like creating that conversation and like bringing that to them, because if they don't know it and they don't have any information, they having knowledge on that, you know. How can they bring it to you, you know? They don't even know that it's a conversation that needs to take place, you know.
Yeah.
So for you, the person who knows that, like, I don't know about this, you know, and like this is something that I obviously need to like discuss with like my parent, you know, and I feel so uncomfortable and I don't know how to do it. One thing that I use as an example, talking about anxiety, I brought the conversation to my mom, you know, like years back, you know, and it was something where I was just like, listen, like, I feel uncomfortable sometimes. I feel A, B, and C, you know, and it was me speaking out my frustrations, you know, but I was like, Mom, I need you to understand how I feel. Like, it actually makes me feel really uncomfortable. I start feeling anxiety from, like, A, B, C,
this,
you know?
that, like, just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah, and I was just like, when I feel anxiety, this is what it makes me feel. Like, I was explaining my physical reactions, like, you know, physically, like, how my body reacts. I'm like, I start to get hot. I feel like I can't breathe. My heart is, like, beating insane, you know, and I just literally feel like I'm about to die, you know? And crazy enough, my mom was like, that's crazy, because
she feels the same.
Yeah, she's like,
she didn't know what to call it.
She didn't know what to call it, you know?
I actually think I just was scared.
Yeah.
And this could be a different conversation, but yeah, I actually think I was just scared, because like,
me too.
My boss would call me and I'm like, I don't want to answer it. Yeah, and my best friend would be like, just answer. I'm like, no, I'm scared. I don't want to. You do it. But I just thought it was because I was like a chicken and I can't face people. No, anxiety.
Yeah.
Huge.
There's so many times I've told myself, like, oh, I just have the butterflies. Like, I'm just nervous because of this, and I don't know why. Or I don't know why I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous.
Just having dialogue.
Yeah.
In
like
the
having
African
the
household
conversation
needs to happen.
And I had to sit there and tell my mom, like, this is what, and then I had to tell her too what was giving me anxiety, you know, and I was like, and it was about my cousin's death, you know, and I was like, when I think about him, I think about this, and this, you know, and in that moment of processing my thoughts, my body starts to get hot, and I'm, you know, I just start to feel really uncomfortable, and I feel like I have to like walk out of the room and be outside just to get fresh air, you know, and she was like, I had no idea, like, you know, you were experiencing that, and I was like, telling her how deep into my thought I get, and she was just like, she just started tearing up, you know, and she was explaining to me, like, first of all, my mom has lost 3 children total, you know? Yeah, she's lost 3 children total.
And that's just stuff like she would have never said if you didn't open up.
Yeah, you know, and she was telling me about how, like, how she gets that. It's crazy because, like, I'm really close with my mom, and I know now that I'm older that it has a lot to do also with her losing 3 children, you know? So she's at a point where, like, she gets anxiety from, like, you being away from her, you know?
Yeah,
so, like,
she's
got this, like, annoying obsession with me, and it's always annoyed me, you know, where it's like, why do you always need me to do this, or why do you always need me to be here, be there, you know? But in that conversation, I got that, like, she wants me to do this, A, B, and C, to keep me close, because it's her anxiety, you know?
Sure, like, that her worst nightmare, what her anxiety is telling her doesn't come true. Yes, I know.
And she was just telling me how, like, it'll literally be, like, and she started to
like the littlest
me,
shit.
Yeah, she was starting to explain to me. She was like, in that moment, she was like, yeah, like, let me, like, she's like, how about if it's like, she's like, if it's like in one of those nights, like, if you go out, or, you know, when you're younger and so you go out and it's like past a certain time, you know, she's like, me calling and all that, you know, she's like, and crying and all that, like it makes me feel in that moment, it makes me think that like something happened to you.
Yeah.
And she's like, and there's like always like this feeling that I just have that like I'm not gonna see you again, or like, you know, you're gone. And like she's like, and I start to feel like I can't breathe, you know, and it just gives me panic, you know. And she's like, I don't know anything else to do in that moment but to just pray, you know. And it was just like, and I was telling her in that moment, like, oh my god, like, girl, you be experiencing anxiety and having panic attacks too, you know. And that's when I had a therapist at the time, and like I invited her to like one of my therapy sessions, you know. And it was great because she got to like really like work through some things, you know, just by that. And then it helped my relationship with her. Yeah, it helped my relationship with her. So the next time I get frustrated, you know, or like really want to like
be like, leave me alone, but you're like, I know why.
Yeah, I just have a soft spot for her where it's like you can almost do and say whatever, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, you
like,
get it, because
you're just in so much pain, you know. And her telling me that, and just she started to share more stories with me, and it helped me to understand. Like, I don't even know, like,
you don't know the half of your mom.
I don't know,
you know like 2%, and you find out the older you get.
You know, There's these tapes that I found that my mom recorded, and these were tapes for my oldest sister. And for the girl that came after her, Nyudo, who ended up passing away, and she made these tapes for the both of them. Because leaving Africa and stuff like that, she didn't come with them, you know. She made these tapes for them. I bawled my eyes off. Every single tape, she was like explaining something different to them. Wow. And like she still has them.
It's like a diary.
It's insane. In one of the tapes, she was explaining about the dynamic of the relationship between my sister Nyekwaja's dad and her. And that was the first man that she's like, you know, obviously ever like, you know, that was just like the first man. And my mom explained a lot of things, you know, and she let me hear those tapes, and I was like,
oh my gosh, can I even say that? The only man that I know my mom ever be with is my dad. So I'm like, hold on, like, did she ever date before that? Yeah. Now I'm gonna go ask. Whoa, because I don't think of anybody else. I'm like, my dad, like, she's never spoken about anybody else. So.
Yeah, and well, I mean, like, that's who she got married to, you know?
Right.
And she was young, and she had her first kid. She was 16 years old, you know? Wow. Yeah, and, like, didn't know, like, obviously, the half of, like, nobody does, you
16?
know? And he was one of the worst individuals, you know, ever. Like, every story that she had about him was, like, just horrible, you know. But then like the way that she handled everything, and then what stuck out to me, this is like turning into a freaking therapy session. What stuck out to me the most was like how she left him, you know. How she left him like was the most amazing thing to me ever, because she just was like telling me about, like, she's just like, I just got to a point, first of all, what made her leave him was he didn't let her leave to go visit her mom, and this was when her mom was sick, and like, and her mom was like dying, you know, and he was not trying to let her leave, and she like was just like, if I have to leave you with this child, like, I'm leaving, yeah, I'm gonna go see my mom, it don't matter what, you know. And she took her baby, you know, and she left, and he like ended up dying. Like, it's a sad story, but like, you know, that's life for him,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
That's life for him. Like, it doesn't.
And like, could you imagine, like, now that you can say that story, your mom's 16, having a kid, you don't even know what your body is doing, you're so young, like.
And I had to ask her, I was asking her, like, what did you feel like what were you going through, who was around you, and what did you feel in your heart, you know?
Yeah.
And I would ask her, like, I'm like, after you,
and they don't have like epidurals.
Yeah, I even asked her, like, I was like, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but were you ever suicidal at any point? Like, did you ever feel depressed? You know, like,
I would think so. Postpartum,
you know, and like you wanted to like just rid it. You know, I just wanted to get deep like into it. Like, what were you going through, lady? Because like when you think about all of that, that's like a small speck of like a fraction of like what you went through. Like, you're grown, you're 50 something now, you know. Everything else like that you went through, and then I think I have anxieties. But I feel like at 25, like, I have anxiety.
And you have no kids.
I have no kids. I don't have a life story like you know, and I know each person has like different things that they're able to handle and experience and stuff, but girl, I'm good.
Right.
I don't have a story like you. Like, you really been been through some things, you know?
Right.
Like, yes, I feel like I've been through some things, and yes, I have, but hey, you let me know that it's gonna be okay.
Absolutely. So now with, like, us being in the U.S., young women, and also having the advantage that we do with having contraceptives and birth control, condoms, all that stuff,
Yeah.
how do we make that a conversation within, I'm not going to say between parents, because I feel like those are things that they're going to have to even get used to. Cause
Right.
I feel like in a Sudanese parent's mind, why are you getting on birth control? You just shouldn't be having sex.
Yeah, you should just, yeah.
Because we don't have hormones, and we can control ourselves, right?
Right.
But then when you're so young and you find someone, you feel like, oh my gosh, I love this person, I want to be with them, and then sex is going to be a part of it. How do you talk about using protection and making sure you understand why you're using that?
Talking about that with your parents?
No. Just what would you say to kids that are like, we're going to move past being young. Now you're old enough to date.
So saying this to like...
Yeah.
Okay.
How do we normalize using condoms, getting on birth control if you're not sure what this is, and being okay with that? Because I feel like sometimes guys will try to like stop you from like getting on, like, what do you need to get on birth control for? But then they're not understanding like the responsibilities of having a child.
Right. I feel like we shouldn't even like have to be in a position of like having to normalize it, you know? Because it's like, why
it's
are
not
you
normal
guys
in our in our community to use condoms? I know like so many people who like refuse to because they're like, it just doesn't feel good. What the fuck?
Well, I don't care.
Right.
What it feels like to you, you know?
There's that
like what comes. Well, I think it just comes down to you as a person. You know, it's not even about like how you feel at that point. You know, it's me. How like what do I want? You know?
Right, yeah.
What do I want? And then how like whatever you want. How does that make me feel? Is that something that I'm willing to like work with?
Right.
For me personally, like me as in mid, like. If you say no, you're not getting tested, I'm sorry, we can't move past that, you know? Like that's the end of the road for us.
I agree with you. Like you said earlier, like, you're not sexually active, neither am I, so I don't have to worry about those things. Like, I don't have to think about, like, oh, condoms, this is not, because I'm just not having it.
But I think having a conversation with, like, your significant other, I feel like you just have to bring it up. Like, you just, I don't think there is a way, because I think when you think too much as to how to have the conversation, that's how you find yourself, like, tiptoeing a whole lot.
Okay, especially getting tested. Like, our community is so, I want to say some are ignorant to the fact, but some don't have the right information.
Yeah, no.
Because a lot of people are like, no, I don't need to get tested. If I don't feel like I have something, then I don't have something. And I feel like that drives me crazy because you need to go.
I feel like you're crazy.
Right. Like, I feel like it's so important. Like I said, I go at least 3 to 4 times.
Yeah,
you just gotta make sure, like, and even if it's not like for STDs, just like get checked in general because you want to make sure you know your status. You want to make sure you're not passing something on, and especially for women, sometimes that like does really bad to our reproductive system. If you have an STD and you don't get it taken care of, or you don't even know you have it, like, you wonder, like, why am I not getting pregnant?
And I feel like people get offended with the whole testing thing because they're like, I don't have anything. Like,
well, then if you have nothing, then go get the test taken. Like, if you have nothing to hide, then just do it.
And
that's
I think
how
it's also a fear of the unknown. Like, you haven't gotten tested and you don't know what's going on.
And that just says a lot about their character, because now you're telling me, like, oh, I don't have anything, but then, like, but I'm not gonna do it. If there's nothing to hide, take the test.
Right.
That's how I am. I'm like, if I have nothing to hide, let me take it.
Let me take it, yeah.
So then I just get it out of the way. Like, it should never be I'm offended you would think this of me. First of all, I feel like we're grown. We're at the age where people have had other partners. Like, you can't sit and be like, your partner's not about to tell you he's a virgin and you're gonna believe that crap.
Right.
You know
like,
what I mean? Like, you've had past.
And you shouldn't even it's like, I'm not gonna believe you. And then on top of that, you shouldn't take my word for it too. As much as, like, yeah, I am being honest, don't take my word for it. You know? You just have to, like concrete.
Just know, like, you want to be safe with your partner, and then even within your relationship, like, make sure you are getting tested every few months. Like, if it's like every 6 months, you know, however y'all decide to do it. Yeah. Because you never know. People cheat. People cheat. People are grabbing. You never know. And then one day,
Obama.
Allegedly.
Everyone cheats except for Obama.
You know, right. So, like, that's just so important to me, and I feel like testing should not be something you should be afraid of.
No.
And if you find out you have something, take care of it. Like, we
and money ain't a problem because there's free testing
Thank
clinics
you.
everywhere in your city, in a city near you.
All right, Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
gives you, like, you can get free tests. They give you condoms. If you want them, you don't have to take them. But, like, the resources are there if you want to get on birth control. I would never suggest birth control. But if it's a certain place you're at in your life and you don't feel like, you know, kids or something,
we suggest it as a contraceptive, but
absolutely,
personally,
to prevent unwanted pregnancy or unplanned pregnancy.
Right.
But I personally, like, I've been on birth control before, and it really messes with you. So I feel like if you do choose that as a contraceptive, do your research and really pay attention to the side effects and what they do to your body, because you do not want to put something inside your body that is going to harm you or that might scar you forever, you know? Like, sometimes the pill, people say they got pregnant off the pill.
That's so scary.
Yeah, and it's more common than, like,
I had to get off the one time I was on birth control. Literally, it was Depo, and
oh, the devil's the devil.
Yeah, and it was like, I hate it. I can never do birth control ever again in my life. That was the worst experience.
Same.
First of all, like, doing Depo, like, my body just, after doing it, like, I felt so fatigued, number one.
I felt so heavy, out of breath.
And then besides the fatigue, like, within literally, like, just 2 weeks, I gained so much weight.
Girl, yeah.
That was, like, and it wasn't healthy because, like, I know my body,
You're so
know?
skinny, like, that's...
Yeah, and I know my body, and it's just how my body's always been, and I get, like, getting older, your body's obviously gonna have, like, different changes and stuff like that, but I just know my body, and I'm very conscious of it, and I listen, and I, you know, I just know, like, when I gain weight, I know the places that I gain weight at, I know how I gain weight, and then, like, I'm conscious, like, I'm aware, too, of the type of fat that, you know what I'm saying, like, if it's healthy, stubborn, I know what you are.
Right,
you know?
yeah, no,
like,
for me, like, it was
not
bad.
good weight,
and it did, like, I was so bipolar, like, I'd be so sad, not even bipolar, like, it made me really depressed, and I'd be so sad some days, and then people are like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, I just don't feel happy, like, I'm really sad. Why are you just sad?
Yeah.
Like, your hormones are really played with, so, yeah, I would never do Depo, but some people use birth control for, like, their period, so you know, because they have really bad cramps, and they have to, like, take care of that, because sometimes there's nothing around it. But yeah, no, the Depo, like, was really bad, and I ate a lot. Like, I just remember, like,
you know what's crazy though with, like, the periods thing? I was, like, looking at you know Dr. Sebi?
Yes.
Okay, I was looking at Dr. Sebi had there was this one video, he had, like, he recommended some his holistic doctor, but that doctor was, like, talking about that doctor worked closely with Dr. Sebi, but they were talking about how, like, women's periods, like, it's not supposed to last the 7 days that they say it's supposed to last.
Mine's 3 days, 4 at the most.
Yeah, like, and everyone has, like, such a long...
Some people have, like, 2 weeks. They're like, oh, it's like 2 weeks. I'm like,
there's something wrong there.
What are you doing?
Yeah. And then they were saying...
Or what are you not doing, honestly?
And they were saying how, like, it's really supposed to be the, you know, 2 to 3 days, 4 days. But they were like, it's not supposed to be, like, actual bleeding. It's supposed to just be spotting. They're like, if you're anything outside of spotting, then that's not normal. And they were talking about how, like, we've, like, completely normalized, like, week-long periods, like, heavy flows or, like, a heavier flow. They were like, you literally shouldn't even, like, need to, like, be switching out tampons or pads that much, you know, like, during a period. And if it's longer than, like, that 2 to 3 days and you're not just spotting, then there's a lot of different, like, changes that you have to make. Health, like, you know, with your lifestyle, first of all, like, what you're doing workout wise, what you're things
there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, it's insane.
So like we said, cautionary, like, we're not recommending it, but if you are choosing those things, make sure you know what you're getting into, because, like, the results afterwards are so different also. Like, I think once I got off the Depo, it took months before I got my period, and that's so scary, because you're just like, what's going on? Yeah, like, hello, you know?
Right.
So that's that. And then as far as, like, that, how can we talk to our partners about getting checked? I know we just talked about it, but, like you said, some people get offended when you're like, go get checked. So how can we, like, word it in a way where it's not like, oh, so you don't trust me, or were you cheating on me?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I haven't figured that part out. I feel like I'm still at the stage where it's like, when we're just like talking, like I'm not bringing it up with every guy, you know, like I'm like dating, you know, but whoever I'm serious with, damn, okay,
I just blurted it out because it bothered me, and I was like, when that happened to me, like I was with someone I was with for a very long time, and then it just like it was bugging me because I started to become really like serious about my health, and I'm just like, well, I'm good, but I just want to make sure like you're good, and I don't want like I didn't want to be offensive, but like make sure you're good, you know, because you want to be healthy, and if you're ever gonna bring a freaking baby in this world, make sure you're both healthy. And I like tiptoed around it. I was like, oh my god, like I wrote messages, like you know how you write them in your like notes, you never send them, and then finally I think like we were face to face, and I just blurted it out. I'm like, I think you should just go get checked. And I was so scared. I thought he was gonna like yell at me.
Yeah.
He didn't, but then it just like it actually brought us closer, which was so different than what I thought. Because I thought he was gonna be like, "What? Are you cheating on me? Like,
no,
do you have something? Do you not trust me? You know?" And I'm just like it's not bad.
I feel like if you respond terribly, then like I'm definitely dropping you off.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you respond terribly or you try to attack me because I'm like asking you to go get tested, we just can't be together. Like you've already answered that for the two of us. I don't even need a clinic to tell me. Right. You know? But I feel like just like coming out and just saying it, like, hey, listen, I feel like we should.
What were you gonna say? I like cut you off.
What?
Because I was saying like, how would you bring that up with the partner? And then
so there is someone that I'm not in a relationship with. Okay. But he's a very interesting person, you know? And we were just like talking about like life and where we see ourselves going and stuff like that. And one thing that I really admired about him is like he just like started talking about like the culture, like and like the relationship, you know, the what is the word? The dynamics. Yeah, the dynamic between men and women in relationships, and how like a lot of times he was talking about how like it's the man's job to like make you feel comfortable, you know. Absolutely. And he was like, as a man, like it's my job to bring the conversation up in a way that is like you're not gonna feel uncomfortable, but in a way where you're also not like having to like tiptoe around and like figure out what to say to me, you know, like as if I'm like this person that you have to like please, you know, with you know, with an answer or something, you know. He's like whatever I'm looking for should be something that is like that values you, you know, where I'm showing you how, you know, girl, you know, just like everything where you know, you're so cute,
right? You're like, what?
Yeah, but like, it's very interesting though. It's interesting because I think now that at this age, I understand though, like, because your response shows what kind of a man you are.
Oh, absolutely, and I feel like men feel like it's not their responsibility. And it's awkward that we have to bring it up, and it's just like, but this affects both of us, not just me, it's also you, you know what I mean? And there's no way to have a healthy relationship if you're not healthy, both, like, physically and everything else. So
and ultimately, too, like, for me, I feel like a guy who, like, is looking, not, like, looking to have sex, what was it? Like, looking to have that conversation, no, looking to, like, someone who wants to have that conversation with me shows me that, like, you care, and like you care about my health as well, you know what I'm saying?
And they absolutely care about themselves.
Like, and you're actually concerned, and so it makes me feel it's easier for me to trust you, you know.
And I feel like those are like that conversation is a huge conversation that makes you more comfortable to talk about a lot of other things. Yeah, whether it's like traumas or things you've been.
A lot of people have sex, but like don't talk about it.
No, and I feel like you need to.
There's so many people that I have like friends who like have been in like relationships for a long time, and we'll like be talking about like, you know, different things, and you're just like, what? You and your partner have never. You guys never talked about that? You know? It's like, no. It's like, how were you? How? Sway, how have you guys been together for 4 years?
You're like,
and you never sat down? And like, why are you having sex if you can't talk about it?
Thank you.
Like,
especially with your partner. It doesn't have to talk about it with anyone else, but like your person.
Come on, if I can like strip down naked like fully in front of you, and like you are seeing every corner of all this, like we can talk about it.
Absolutely,
you know? We can talk about it.
So, what are some tips you'd give to young women who want to know more about their health, whether not saying sex health, but just like getting checked, you know, your pap smear, like what is it, your mammograms, those just like those yearly exams.
What I say, like,
where can they go?
Go to your local clinics. And if you don't know how to find them, Google. Yeah. Google is literally the best thing on, like, right at our disposal, you know? Literally. Right now, Google is the best. Google you can Google free clinics, women's clinics, Planned Parenthood. I know a lot of like big cities have like there's a women's clinic here. There's so many. Yeah, there are so many cities have women's clinics, and women's clinics, if you don't have health insurance, like they always offer like so many different programs that
depending
can,
on like your pay. Yeah, like give you free. It could be free, and you maybe have to pay something really small.
Yeah, and I know a lot of different clinics that like just ask for donations for, you know, if you have. There's so many different, especially if you're just fresh out of high school, and
Google, and I think ask the older women around you.
Yes.
I would say this, like, if you feel like you're uncomfortable talking about these things with people in your life, hit us up. I'm free to talk. Like, I am too. I'll talk about it. She's free to talk, and I'll have her, like, her Instagram and stuff and their handles on there, so then, you know, you can hit us up and talk to us, and we can just kind of walk you through it, because I wish I had somebody who did that for me. You know, I feel like I would have saved so much time, so much stress, so much fear, or just like not understanding what's going on with my body. So yeah, definitely do that. Reach out to older women in your life that you feel like you trust, or us if you want. Go ahead.
One of my friends, Tara, she is literally one of the coolest people ever. But I don't want to say like, so she just said something that like stuck out to me, okay? So she's a cancer survivor. Ooh, Tara. Yeah. Love you, girl.
Congratulations.
I know, right? But she said something that stuck out to me, and she was like talking about how like there's so many young women because of like health insurance, and you know, people are just in many different financial situations where they think like, oh, like it's better for me to just like not go and not check anything out, you know, because I don't have a way to deal with that. Yeah, but like there's so many different people. She's just saying like how like literally a 22-year-old girl can be going through life right now with stage 4 cancer and not know it, you know. Yeah. And when she said that, like she's speaking from personal experience, you know.
To that clinic so fast.
Yeah, she's speaking from personal experience where it's like there's so many people who like will have things like that, and you think you're just tired, you know, you think you're just losing a little bit more energy, and you think like it's just like you just think you're in this like weird funk and you're gonna get out of it, and then by the time certain people go and figure it out, it's like girl, like now you gotta take your health even more like serious, you know.
I think some advice I would say is try to talk to your parents. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still uncomfortable with it, but I'm past that age, so I don't have to. But don't wait till you're that old to not know and then figure it out on your own, you know? Find somebody you do trust and have those conversations with them, and just really take care of yourself. Like, go get checked, go get, like I said, your yearly exams. Those are so important. I think they say go like every year.
Yeah,
the older you get, you need to go more.
Your gynecologist needs to be like one of your friends.
Yeah, you gotta go. So that should be something that's regular, you know. And then also just if you have been through past traumas, because I know we did talk about like women, girls who like have had certain situations happen to them, or guys who did, like get help. Know that it wasn't okay, and then like find ways to heal from that trauma so you can have a better health, like sexually healthier life, because that matters.
And set yourself up for success for your next relationship.
Amen to that. Period. Well, guys, that is it. We're going to end this here. We talked about a lot. It kind of went everywhere, but I hope you guys got the gist of it and what we were trying to say. Once again, we are not promoting young kids to have sex at all. I think you should definitely wait till you are ready and at an age where you understand the importance and why you are even being involved with someone.
Zip it up, lock it up.
Zip it up, lock it up, wrap it up. And we'll see you guys in another video.
Bye.